We are coming today with you in reference to hidden costs when you are closing on a home that is pre-existing or one that you're building. If you are a first-time buyer, sometimes there are hidden costs that you're not made aware of.
That's right.
I know when we initially bought our first home, it cost us roughly $23,000, and that was many
Long
years
time ago, you guys.
Over 40 years ago. And so things then were not as expensive as they are today, but it was a first-time home. We were caught off guard with various amounts of money. When we purchased our second home, there were amounts of money because it was a different level of home. And every time you go into a home, there are costs that you're not really aware of. One cost is the more expensive the home is, there are more expenditures that you have to put out.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are purchasing a home, whether it's pre-existing or whether it is one that you're building, you're gonna have to look for those hidden costs. I know that the lender will look at your budget for income to debt ratio.
Right.
But you too need to re-examine and reevaluate your money before you step up to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're purchasing, for example, a $300,000 home, there are costs in your closing that could range anywhere from 2% to 5%. So for that $300,000 home, expect to pay anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000 just for your closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
You say, well, what could those costs encompass? Because that's a lot of money. Those closing costs could encompass attorney fees, title searches. It could encompass insurance to protect you as the buyer from any unknown title searches that may pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you need to look for your homeowner taxes, appraisal fees, loan originations, things like that, recorder fees. All those things are incorporated into your closing costs.
That's right.
So when you are getting ready to close, I tell people from my experience, you need to make sure, just like you budget your money for your day-to-day living towards your retirement, you need to, and you have those emergency funds, you need to also have money to the side just in case when you're getting ready to close, for any pop-up things that you may not have been aware of. You have that money that you've set aside to close,
Mm-hmm.
but make sure that you have that extra pocket change on the side for just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't need it, then that goes back into your normal funds that you would normally be budgeting for your daily living or for your home expenditures or for your decorating purposes or what have you.
That's right. You know, and we are talking about the two things. So she's talking about when you buy a pre-existing home, and I'm talking about when you build a home for the first time. So, and there's some unexpected expenditures that comes with that too. One of the main things, you know, back in I think it was 2008, or when they was like letting everybody build these homes, and they was letting them build homes that they really couldn't afford.
Right.
Because they was kind of, everybody, it was basically greed of the mortgagors and the people like that, and people that was building a home, and they was letting people build homes they know they couldn't afford. So they wouldn't share all the information with them. Some of the information that they didn't talk about was when you building a home for the first time, there's things that comes into play. First of all, you got the land, so you paying taxes on that land. But once you build that home, after a year, then that property is reassessed, is revalued. So they're gonna look at how much that home is worth, and then along with the property, then they're gonna reassess that. So you don't pay that high property tax for that first year, but then they do that reassessment, they will add that into your mortgage. So say, for example, say that you've got once they reassess it, your taxes, your property taxes goes up, and it's $300 or $400 a month. So a lot of people can't really afford that. So if you're paying $1,200 and it goes up $400 a month, that's $1,600 that you really didn't budget for, because you didn't know that originally they wouldn't have that all encompassed in there. But after they reassess that a year and they add the extra $400 to your mortgage, now for most people, they can't really afford that. That's $400 extra that they didn't budget into their costs. So now they can't afford it. So now they're kind of upside down and they're looking for, okay, what I'm gonna do? As far as I'm gonna have to have more income, either get another job or work overtime or do something to, because I can't really afford this home. And a lot of people got foreclosed in those situations because once they reevaluated and they couldn't afford it, and they couldn't come up with that type of money, they end up losing the home.
Right.
So we don't want that to happen to you. So expect the unexpected, and you can deal with it if you know it's coming. So you don't go in there and get a home that you can't afford. But if you know that this is going to be reevaluated and it's going to be assessed more money in a year, so now you can prepare for that. Well, like my wife had already said, when you are purchasing a home, if it's a new home or the pre-existing home, you never want that home to be over 25% of your total household income. 25%. So I know that a lot of times you fall in love with a home and you really want it, and it's really outside your price range, but it can be more of a burden than a blessing. It can make you regret many a days that you jumped to a home that you couldn't afford. Because I've been there before, and when the pressure of the loan collectors calling saying they want their money and this, and they saying other things, and then that's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself that you don't have to. So you want to save up at least 20% to put down on the home. You don't want that home to be over 25% of your monthly income. And then you want to, if you're building a home for the first time, you want to take in consideration that they're going to reassess that home after the first year. So we wanted to share that with you today, and we hope that you get something out of this. If you like this, hit that smash button, subscribe button, smash that subscribe button, and we'll bring you more information at a later date. Thank you very much.